With all the other pressures on their finances, American families should not have to worry about the federal government taking a bigger bite out of their paychecks. There's only one way to eliminate this uncertainty. Make the tax relief permanent.
We need to make the Bush tax cuts permanent, which I voted for twice.
Now, I also support the Bush tax cuts.
I think they stimulate the economy. I think that one of the first things we have to do that I forgot to mention is make these tax cuts permanent.
The Bush tax cuts help get our economy going again when we face the last tough times.
The other pressing challenge is immigration. America needs to secure our borders, and with your help, my administration is taking steps to do so.
And I will secure the borders first, and I will have the border states' governors certify that those borders are secured.
What we've got to do is to have a secure border fence, something I propose that we do within 18 months of taking office.
That we secure the border, we have the fence, and we have enough Border Patrol agents to secure the border, and that we have an employment verification system of some kind.
Ladies and gentlemen, some may deny the surge is working, but among the terrorists, there is no doubt. Al-Qaeda is on the run in Iraq, and this enemy will be defeated.
As the President said, we are winning. We have not defeated Al-Qaeda, but I am proud of the success of the surge, and I'm proud of the leadership we have.
The surge is working. I think one of the things we've seen is it's been a dramatic success. And
I met with my staff and announced that day that I supported a surge. The President announced later that day the entire program.
And the fact is, as we blame the President for the failed strategy, we should give him credit for changing the strategy and changing the leadership so that we now have, I think, one of the finest military leaders in American history in David Petraeus.
Al-Qaeda's top commander in Iraq declared that they will not rest until they have attacked us here in Washington. My fellow Americans, we will not rest either. We will not rest until this enemy has been defeated.
I think the President's assessment is exactly right.
We cannot turn Iraq over to Al-Qaeda and have Al-Qaeda have a safe haven from which they can recruit people to carry out bombings, to attack this country and our friends around the world. It's unthinkable, and that's why I will not walk away from Iraq until we have been successful and finish that job.
I also totally agree with him that the decisions on further withdrawals should not be made by politicians in Washington, but by General Petraeus and acting on his recommendations.
The one thing I do agree with is that we need to leave with victory, and we need to leave with honor. And the reason we need to is because if we leave a bigger mess in Iraq than is there now, it is not just going to affect Iraq.
If we'd have done what the Democrats wanted to do 6 months ago, Al-Qaeda would be trumpeting to the world that they beat us. I'll never let that happen. We'll never surrender.
We share a common goal: making health care more affordable and accessible for all Americans. The best way to achieve that goal is by expanding consumer choice, not government control.
If you take the government out of it to a much greater extent, you get it to work like a market, and we'll rein in costs.
And they will be able to go out and choose their insurer anywhere in America, and they will be able then to get affordable health care in America.
And the real issue, though, let's not blame President Bush for all of this. We've got a Congress who's sat around on their hands and done nothing but spend a lot of money.
I don't think it's better off than it was 8 years ago. To be truthful, I think the 8 years that you've seen, and I don't blame that on President Bush. I blame that on Washington.
So I think if we're asking, is George Bush responsible for all this? No.